Father, episode 10 of Suplexing4Rinoa is here, covering a merger of two pay-per-views. YouTube is under attack. And it is something that someone on Botchmania beat me to. Damn it! It's the new era! NXT roster has felt a bit empty, having new stars get a chance in the spotlight, while those who have proven themselves over in other companies that are more well-known and renowned are looking to shine that spotlight back on where they feel it belongs, on themselves. I've honestly always had trouble predicting who'd win in NXT matches. The roster may not be what it was, but there's still that level of uncertainty that's always prevalent in these brands' pay-per-views. So I came into this with high hopes that NXT would continue its run of holy shit, this pay-per-view that WWE kind of only manages to average this year. They've been doing pretty good with that, but it's not the constant that NXT was and is. Speaking of constants, the greatest man who ever lived, Austin Aries, wanting to establish himself as nothing less. Got a fan in No Way Jose, who has Aries actually cut loose a little bit until Aries, after a good while, teasing a heel turn, and it's like, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. Oh, okay, here we go. Bam. Yeah, they're dancing on the table. I was like, oh, maybe not. No. Like, wow, that was a long one. Like a full minute of you two just dancing, like probably a minute and a half or so. And after that, we get like Cactus Jose almost. I mean, when Jose gets angry, holy shit, look at this guy. So, both men kind of responsible for waking each other up and making them more focused before this match even begins. Even though his face, Jose can straight up manhandle the smaller Aries. Aries does catch Jose's neck on the ropes and then begins his offense. A ray of quickness from the former Ring of Honor and TNA champion. A few more moves in and Aries gets last chance for giving Joe an option to either tap or make the ropes. He does the latter to the boos of the crowd. Yeah, they're full on Aries. Aries looking for that rolling elbow gets Mark Mero moved instead for a near fall. The human bullet Aries just ramming himself into Jose, right into that barricade. Back in and Jose counters a maneuver for two as he's bleeding from the mouth, I guess from either like another elbow or something. Oh no, because he gets like another elbow afterwards, only for Jose to bounce back and clothesline the shit out of Aries. Crucifix bomb from Aries into a dropkick for near fall. Sunset flip into last chancery and Austin wins it. Post-match, he's continuing to beat on him and then... Look in my eyes! What do you see? The GTS from Itami! So I guess that's for the next pay-per-view. Just, like, in a city, just straight up, boom. And then the GTS and the crowd went apeshit. Okay, this one I can predict, because, it's someone new coming in, and they usually give that to like, oh, someone's debuting, you're gonna win. The self-proclaimed femme fatale, Billie Kay, out here, like, I think this happened, like, last week. She's like, you know, I'm just like, I'm the greatest, I don't have a match, or something like that. And that's how the Aries thing came about. Like, it's like, he doesn't have a match. And it's like, alright, you're gonna give, Regal's like, I'm gonna give you someone you've ducked for a while. And that's, No Way Jose. By the way, I love the set piece he's got going on, because he's in his office and you see like on the side there's like a stand with like a red velvet on it, and his brass knucks are sitting on there. It's like a conversation piece. Oh, it really is the little things sometimes. Like, oh man, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, he's just talking to Regal in the office, and he's just like, oh, this is my 2000. This is my brass knucks I used to win the European Championship from that toe rag Al Snow. Anyway, back to Billie Kay. Like, she just like, I've proven myself, I'm the greatest, I don't have the match. But she's like, you're gonna go up against the debuting Ember Moon, who looks ready to join the conversation of future women's champs that right now seems to be strictly AB with Bayley Asuka. More on that. Ember looking like she's straight up a Mortal Kombat character, but not like a complete ripoff. Maybe it's her own thing, I don't know. Shoutouts to other members of that one, you know, Glacier Mortis. Let me know if I've missed anybody. That's like the first two that comes up on conversation is pretty much it. Maybe Wrath? I don't know. We need a guy with like a robot eye or something like that, just like, hello, baby. Like, you can't beat him! Give it up! I've studied all your moves. I've looked at the tapes. Alright. I'm getting, like, Katana vibes, and then he takes off, and she's like, her eyes are just, like, completely red. I'm like, someone's gonna get murked. Billie Kay does look real impressive, just working Ember over and bending her nearly into herself. Ember eventually does get her offense, and Billie don't last long. Like, midriff kick, cartwheel shot to the face that looks like that one handspring back elbow is supposed to look like. Like, it's not that goofy China or Kelly one that they do with, like, the triple backflip. I'm like, oh, that looks dangerous. Like, it's just like a handspring elbow and just BAM! Like, it's not a back elbow, but it's just like a straight forearm shot almost. It looks great. It's evolved into something that's more plausibly devastating. Top rope mid-air spinning stunner. Ember wins. Like, she took it and then dished it out in unimaginable ways. And I was clapping a little bit for Ember, but mostly for Billie Kay, like, on her feet to act upset about the loss. Like, oh shit, she's still standing after that. So kudos to both ladies on this one. But man, like I said, Ember Moon trying to see herself in that AB conversation, like I mentioned earlier. Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. Until the end. Oh, Dalton Castle's theme, you've been replaced. This fucking entrance! Rude arrived a few weeks back, but here's him getting the best theme in an equally great promo saying how happy he is to be here. Because now NXT, it's going to get elevated to the next level. Presidents will be watching wrestling because of me. He doesn't have a match, so he shows up after a Cien Almas match saying like, oh, hey, that was okay. It was a little botchy at the end, but that was good. That was like, it was like backhanded, like, it was like, it was alright, but it wasn't glorious. And proceeds to challenge him himself, and poor Cien don't do shit on this. Like, he's just standing there. It's like, okay, this guy challenged me. So I'm like, okay, Bobby Roode's gonna beat his ass. Like I said, there was a couple ones I could do, and wow. Roode's lowered on probably the remains of Bad News Barrett's podium in a Ric Flair-esque roll with the words glorious on the back of it. He's still kind of coming out of the whole Bobby Roode thing where he became the it factor. Like, actually, no, I think he was doing that for a while. Like, it was still like the it pays to be Roode. He still had like the robe on. That was the thing. So he's been doing it for a long time. Again, poor Cien Almas just could not compete. Like, first Dillinger, now Roode is just almost forever cursed to face people who start out more popular than him. I mean, wow. Like, you gotta book him against people they don't like. Like, book him against the Revival and give him a tag team partner or something. Like, because you're throwing him out there with the Sharks, man, and the crowd don't know what to make of him because they are full on Bobby Roode, and he's the it factor of professional wrestling, the longest reigning TNA champion. The man who even, like, when Team Canada broke up on TNA, Scott D'Amore said, you're going to be a future world champion. I'm like, wow, I didn't know how prophetic those words were going to be. Like, fast forward into the end, I was like, I was watching that again. I was like, wow. Like, who else was in that group? Eric Young, who was, I think he's still in NXT. I haven't seen him in a while. A1, I don't know what he's doing. Petey Williams, who's got the greatest finisher ever. Probably in my favorite 5 dog, the fucking Canadian Destroyer. If you pull that off, like, crowd goes nuts. That finisher was over, so in essence, so will he. And I think he was like the kind of the de facto leader of that group. Like, Scott D'Amore was like the manager or something like that, but I think like the lead guy was him, and I think Roode was like the enforcer, the muscle or something like that. But he said like, no, you're gonna be future champion someday. I was like, man. Cien does flummox Roode a little bit, who starts the match all celebratory, like, oh, I'm here. I was thinking, like, Cien could probably steal a win here, but shit does eventually break down, and former TNA champ puts in the work that made him that it factor. Over the top rope, and Cien gets a near fall. Roode fights out of Cien's hammerlock DDT and gets booted instead. Spinebuster from Roode. Glorious Bomb is your finisher? Not so glorious a finisher. I'm being completely honest, but NXT continues the tradition of Bobby Roode. It's like, oh, they said it. And the Cosmic Ballet goes on. Vignette of bad shit going down. Like, I think it's like pretty much a compilation of the worst of 2016 of them. Just like, yeah. And then the single word, sanity. Okay. As Orange County Choppers presents the trophy they built to award the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic. You had all that time and you just built like a stand with a globe on it. Like, that's it. If I built that, I would get a guy like I would just like take a guy and suplex like 3 other dudes or some shit like that. Like, man, really? Are those the guys that do like are those like the brothers that had their TV show that they still do that? I don't know. I ain't much for reality TV because it's like tends to bleed all over the place, and I'm just like, get me away from this channel. Speaking of channels, I found I can't remember the name of it, but I've been seeing a Ring of Honor. I haven't seen any of the pay-per-views like that happened Friday, but I do see like they shaved Jay Lethal, who was apparently like was like a year-long and change champion, almost 2 years until like Adam Cole beat him at the pay-per-view. Other team I like in that is the Cabinet, because they're like, we're gonna build a strong wall, a huge wall around the Young Bucks so they can't super kick people anymore. And they're like, well, how's that gonna work? And I'm like, we're gonna make the Young Bucks pay for it. Ha ha. Cruiserweight Classic. The end of the first round had Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Wrestling Gargano work a fucking clinic and show each other and the world that these may be the guys that beat the guys who just became the first ever 2-time NXT Tag Champs, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, the Revival, after their huge win over American Alpha in June, and have been crowing ever since, like, top guys, Tommaso and Ciampa getting a non-title W over the team, so they've earned this opportunity for the tag titles here tonight. Hashtag DIY, do it yourself for Ciampa and Gargano. Not feeling that one, sorry. I said it was about as meh as Y2AJ, which if you recall lasted a couple of long breaths before Jericho healed it up. People on Twitter saying Ciampa was going to turn on Gargano. I can kind of see it. Ciampa looks like a guy who can murk a motherfucking Johnny Wrestling. It's clear everybody fucking loves good old Johnny Gargano. It's like, everybody, like, the seeds were in place. They both single out Dawson till Dash helps to break it up, and only for him to get worked by J-Dub. Dash and Dawson almost pushed to that level of tandem offense by these guys, and they get it over on hot-headed Ciampa. Gets nothing but air going for a tag, and Gargano just yanked off Dash and fakes, falling into the ring just to get the ref's attention, and so Ciampa misses his tag to Gargano so he doesn't get that hot tag and just clean house. Like, it was like very telling. Like, they didn't have to, like, they told a story. Like, they didn't think much of these guys, and then but oh wow, we're both getting work. Like, we got to do our tandem offense. Like, okay, these guys are legit. We got to take them seriously now. I was like, oh, this is great. This was probably my favorite match of the night. Like, this was like, the follow was the other title matches. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. After that, wow, man, oh man. Ciampa dodging both men's attempt to squash him as they both get nothing but ropes. Tag to Gargano, spear to Dawson, near fall. Tag to Dash as both go in and Gargano dodges a bit, only to end up getting DDT for a near fall. Gargano tagged in with his submission. Dash breaks that up and saves the match. Another near fall from Ciampa, trading shots with Dawson. Shatter Machine blocked. Super kick from Gargano. Near fall. Super kick in stereo. New Joe. No, ref saw the foot at like the last second. The match continued. Like, wow. That was pretty much right there with the crowd. Like, we thought that was it. But no, the ref was like, no, the foot was on the ropes. No, waves it off. Match continues. I was like, wow. Dawson outside takes out Ciampa. Chop block to Gargano. They go after the knee of Gargano now, like how they took out Big Cass. They do that double tandem spot. They put him in a submission. It's like a reverse figure four or something like that. And Gargano's got like no choice but to tap out. The champs retain. It's an amazing match. And like I said, it was the match of the night. And I'm like, how do you follow that with, I guess you can only do it with the other championship matches. And they did. So, of course, the women's title rematch is on. Even Bayley fell to the undefeated Asuka. So Asuka is now your new women's champion. Bayley was out for a while after that match, and she had to come back and run through the division again to get this rematch round to do what no one else has done, but Asuka. Asuka, in turn, doesn't think much of Bayley, and she's like, you don't have what it takes. Maybe a heel turn? There was that one NXT where she wanted Bayley, like, hey, watch my match tonight. And she goes to the commentary table, and it's like, no. I meant the steel chair. I'll put it right in front of the steel ring. And it's like, you sit here and watch my match. she didn't say it all that, but she didn't say it, but she said it. She didn't verbiage it, but unsure if heel turn or Asuka just being Asuka. Almost kind of like a female Lesnar. Like, there's no face or heel with her. Like, Asuka, I think, can pull that off really well. Needed a bridge in the nose as Bayley comes down, and Asuka, liking what you see, is back into boot the count, and she's got to roll back into boot the 10 count, and Asuka's like immediately on her. Like, running hip. Like, okay, this is her entitled defense mode, so she gets to, toy a little bit with Bayley now. This is, a different Asuka now. Like, just the level of, difference in wrestling. Like, oh, man, why can't we... Like, if we could just capture this, it would be okay. Like, we would be able to tell a fucking story. That's what this was, kind of. Like, now that she's in defense mode, she doesn't have to, chase after Bayley. She doesn't have to go full tilt on her just yet. She can, mess around with her and get inside her head. Like, the whole thing with, the chair and everything. Watch my match and telling her, you don't have what it takes. Like, it's mind games. All our shots right into the face of Bayley, and I do mean all. Like, the hip attack, the forearms. Bayley on point brings it back with her flying attacks for a near fall and actually having a move of hers scouted. Crossbody for another near fall. Asuka dodges another crossbody and connects with Shining Wizardo for 2. Bayley gets Asuka in the Tree of Woe situation and follows with a sick elbow for 2. I would have just, keep her in there for as long as I could. I guess that wouldn't be very face of Bayley to do that. I don't know. But I'm like, oh, you got Asuka down, keep her there. Because she's eventually going to get up and do shit. Trading running shots at one another till Asuka just snatches Bayley in a stretch muffler, back and forth roll-ups. Asuka now ends up with Asuka in an ankle lock. Asuka starts teeing off and Bayley blocks one there and Asuka hit me in the face. Does so, and Bayley almost with a 3 countering a shot. Bayley gets a huge move in for another near fall. Asuka immediately comes to Asuka lock. But she fights back to her feet. She's not quite all the way in the middle of the ring. Bayley to belly near fall, and she's like, oh, she's getting up. She's about to rush in, and right away, another Asuka locks, snatched her. Bayley does fight out of that again because the legs weren't completely locked. Bayley gets another near fall, gets kicked down to the mat for 3. Asuka still undefeated. Bayley probably on her way to the main roster soon so we can start building towards Sasha Bayley 3. At either WrestleMania or if you're going to wait that long, I don't know. Because Becky's on another show. I've heard rumors that Charlotte may be leaving for a while. Or I don't know, it might just be rumors. Main event! Samoa Joe, not happy with the new number 1 contender Shinsuke Nakamura, saying, he's not a worthy competitor, even though you both beat former champ Finn Balor. Joe's like, Joe is what I want Roman Reigns to become. Not the next John Cena, the first Roman Reigns. He's a force of nature. He's upset. Joe's like, I had to jump. He's still, kind of the entitled. I had to, still on about the Dusty Rhodes Classic. I had to do all this just to get the title shot. And now Nakamura just boots, a couple people. And it's jump through hoops to get where he is. And you've got Shinsuke playing mind games. Looking like he's not taking Joe very seriously. Even going out at one point to, he's going to come out to confront him after he lays a booting on, a very game Mojo Rawley. There was a match between those two. Mojo and Mojo Joe Samo. I am Mojo Joe Samo. Den. I don't get Samoan. I stick. I don't. But yeah, he's coming out, and this was good too because he's just coming out slowly. He's doing his thing where flailing his arms about, and his music goes on, and Joe looks at him like he's about to murk him, and immediately the security's already out there beating Nakamura too, trying to hold Joe back. Oh, it was beautiful. And so they're all of them are like all on Joe and just like every single one. There's like 6 or 7 dudes on Joe, and Nakamura just like slowly saunters in with his like this fucking, and then he's like, "I got your nose," which fucking sets Joe in a rage. Like he's just fucking, like, and the crowd's like, "Hold him back, hold him back." Like the security's like they're desperate to hold him back, and Nakamura's just like, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go now. I did what I set out to do." It's so strange. You never think you'd actually see someone just do like a fucking got your nose. Like for anybody else, I'll be like, what the fuck? But for Nakamura, it makes sense because no one else does it like he does. And then in ring, murks him like Asuka, just more like stylish about it. You know what I mean? So hence the Swag Skate nickname. You even get somewhat a live violin intro. This one person was out there, and Joe's just got to come out and follow that, touting himself up. He's like, "I'm the most violent in WWE." I said on Twitter this was Tyson Ali. Like, either Joe's gonna murk him or continues to let Shinsuke inske his head. Joe imposes his muscle, and Naka breaks the hold with a little more forceful got your nose, like he's grabbing his nose. Where's the ref on that shit? Like, man. And ref's like, is that a thing? Is that in the rule book? Like, grabbing noses? Is that the rule book? Like, I know you see all Divas matches, like, watch the hair, watch the hair. I know that's a thing. So I'm gonna assume nose is like a thing. It's like to break it off, and Nakamura like kind of embracing the "I've got till 5" at some point, and then he just like grabs his nose. Like as soon as he gets his nose, and then he starts bringing the knees in, Joe begins to pummel Shinsuke. Not satisfied with a count-out victory. Like usually you have like a heel champion, they'll like wait for the challenger to get back in, and then like take a breather. Joe's like, nah, bring his ass back into this ring. I want to beat him. So again, another story told. Like Joe is not satisfied with the count out. Joe is not satisfied with him just coming in. Joe's like, I'm gonna boot his ass. Or he knows what Shinsuke is about. They put him over. Like these two respect each other. They hate each other, but there's a level of respect there. Like I think like the one interview like before the match, there was like a sit down interview between the two, and Joe's like, Shinsuke came to like my dojo, and Shinsuke's like, I don't remember that. And it's immediately Joe set up. Like that's why I thought this was gonna be like a battle of like he was gonna get flummoxed out there. He was gonna make a mistake, and Shinsuke was just gonna like kick his head off or something. Like fatality. It would have been like the Mortal Kombat Bloodsport thing on YouTube. Like I think it's on there, Mortal Kombat Bloodsport or something like that. Just find that on YouTube. It's But yeah, Joe is not satisfied. He just wants to punish Shinsuke. He shows this by letting up on his own pin attempt, wanting to make Naka tap with a Boston Crab. Shinsuke breaks out, levels Joe with a spinning heel kick, knees to the head, and gets slightly uranage. They didn't get quite all of that one. Like usually, like you go for the running thing in the corner, and Joe snatches it and bam, like right on the ground, like right to the mat. Like Joe maybe got like probably half of that. Looks for Muscle Buster, gets second rope drop kicked. Landing a toe! Takes out Naka. He's going for another one. Tries to get a submission off of it. Joe powers out and turns it into a cloverleaf. But Shinsuke's kind of lanky, so he makes the ropes kind of easy. Fights out of a Coquina clutch, attempt 1 and 2, and runs right into a knee for a 2 count. Batters him with elbows. Coquina Naka once again makes the ropes. Explosive German suplex from Nakamura turns Joe on his head, like head and neck first almost. Like, oh, man. He comes back with a power slam for a near fall. Muscle Buster! Shinsuke kicks out. Gets out of another one. Kinshasa! Joe kicks out. So now they've both taken their best finishers. Shinsuke knee to the back of the head. Second Kinshasa. New champion! As the ref throws up the X, I think like immediately after that. Like that first Kinshasa rocked him good. Like Joe kicked out, but I think he didn't even know he didn't even know where he was, I think, at that point. Like it was just like Nakamura was already measuring the shot, like back of the head, boom. And then Kinshasa too, like finishes him off. So I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was like, it might have also been like the suplex where he landed like on his head and his neck. Like there was a lot of vicious headshots that Joe was not expecting, I think. Just like So I guess he did, like, kind of mind games Joe. Like he did what I said he was going to do. Hopefully this is storyline and nothing serious, so I'm like, well, what now? I can only assume Ember Moon's next to face Asuka for the title, like I said, because there's no other woman I can believe is an even match for Asuka at this point. Bobby Roode, same for Shinsuke, I'm assuming, because Aries has his hands full with Atami. That's going to be a classic, I'm sure. But that was NXT TakeOver Brooklyn the second. Okay, now to talk about SummerSlam. I came into the ending of a match we had just last Tuesday on SmackDown, a 12-man tag of the Usos, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, Breezango, and the Ascension. The Usos actually steals the win here. That's why I came into the ending of this. They actually steal the win from American Alpha, showing that they're at least prepared to get at those SmackDown tag titles, whatever their name is going to be. Baron Corbin interrupts the pre-show panel, upset that his near Heidenreich levels of victimizing and beating on Kalisto backstage. Now Kalisto's not medically cleared all of a sudden. He looks at Booker's watch, he's like, mine cost more. And he's even a bilingual bonus on Kalisto, pretty much vowing more or less to end him. Tells Renee, she wants to ask him a couple questions. Renee's like, I'm not here to ask questions, drops the mic and leaves. Now that's how you sell me on stock of some Corbin's. That's how you sell me on him. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. What a heel. Pre-show continues with those damn Dudleys versus the man that forgot his first name still? Teaming up with the man that Creator forgot totally won his feud with Kevin Owens at the previous pay-per-view and is on the pre-show. What? I mean, he beat Owens last pay-per-view, he beat Sheamus and Jinder Mahal on Raw. Like, really making me pull out that Rollins early, aren't you? Dudleys for a bit have been doing that thing that happens when all tag teams start to lose steam. Miscommunications in ring so they hit each other accidentally and lose matches as a result. The same happens here when it seemed like Bubba missed a 3D setup completely and runs to accidentally clothesline Devon, Halua kick and Red Arrow for 3. Wow, Cole is like, needs to be reset because he still thinks we're watching this on TV, he's still using the set your DVRs. Pretty sure that's not a thing on the, after all your talk of $9.99 and pushing that, yeah. The storm outside picked up a little bit to kind of mirror the shitstorm that is this best of 7. I know I said it might have been interesting, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah, Sheamus has already been beaten twice by Cesaro and on Raw and Sheamus, thanks to Cesaro, so. And that's how we get the best of 7. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had one of these, but it's usually to fight for something. Mick Foley decided all of a sudden we need someone to establish physical dominance, He says, Cesaro, I question your shoulder. Sheamus, I question your drive and your attitude. So let's have this best of 7 match after Cesaro has already beaten Sheamus twice in a row already, Wow would Foley get on my shit list and everybody else is on a roll. Yeah, there's a recent SmackDown's up 3-1 so far as the months have been going by, just because it's done marginally less shitty than Raw 3. Like, again, there's only one in WWE I can think of, and that was for, like, the U.S. title of Booker T and Benoit. Like, they were at least fighting for something. This is just two dudes you've given nothing else for at the time, and Twitter don't actually broke this one gently, because I had to find out this from them. I'm pretty much done listening to Cole at this point, but 19 pay-per-views? That doesn't include NXT takeovers, does it? I'm not saying Cesaro can't work in a best of 7, but again, this needs salvaging quickly or different match types for the falls. Like, change the steps each match, because these usually do go to fall 7, so unless you're giving people something more to just these two beefing on each other, no one's going to give a shit. Which is so not what Cesaro needs right now. the fact that, by the way, still the pre-show that this first fall is happening shows us already that we shouldn't. Fuck. So already going into SummerSlam, like, fuck. God damn it. Fuck. Cesaro as the Brogue scouted with a kick of his own and a thunderous clothesline to follow, credit where credit's due, and Cesaro on top of the fucking ring post to the top turnbuckle, Air Cesaro New Legacy Special. Sorry, I watched a lot of the SmackDown run through, SummerSlam run through rather of the pay-per-view beforehand. They do their simulation. And usually every time there's a giant swing, it's the New Legacy Special. Sharpshooter and Sheamus makes the ropes, counters to another Brogue kick to a submission attempt. Thumb to Cesaro's eye, the third Brogue's the charm. Sheamus takes the first win. Or he takes the win to Cesaro's 2 in this best of 9 series. That's what everyone was saying on Twitter. I'm like, yeah? Strap the fuck in, guys! Oh. It's even worse because it's only like one branded, so we gotta wait a whole week for them to be like, this is gonna continue to the whatever the next pay-per-view is, because it won't be because I think it's a first SmackDown only pay-per-view. I saw this like later on September 11th. Backlash. They brought it back. Can we get the moving hooks, like that graphic? Can we get that back and can we get like the set for that thing? I'm not holding my breath, but I'm just trying to stay optimistic. And SummerSlam was just invaded by the familiar buzzing of Sonic's 25th anniversary for a second there. Like, as soon as the show goes like, Blue Spheres Club for life. Pretty cool stage. There's like LED graphics all over the fucking place on this one. Yeah, the hometown boys Enzo and Cass return, and brings the pipes to the main stage with a rendition of Sinatra's New York. Saying we've 99 problems and Jericho ate one of them. This matchup came around due to Enzo coming out to hit on Sasha Banks, who just got legit married to Makaze. Jericho takes issue with this because he hates fun and loves his scarf and his new douchey heel mustache. He's trying to look less like Bon Jovi and more like Justin Hawkins from The Darkness with the like if he ever just went all full shit stash or something. His best friend is gonna watch his back, but his name for said friend is clearly of the JoJo variety, or whatever Jericho said, like Heidenschmidt or something like that. He's like, you know, he did like curling and shit. And enter Kevin Owens, who also it's fun, and Enzo and Big Cass is like, you know, that name totally doesn't exist, but don't worry, I got your back. So becoming kind of the straight man in this new team of, like I said, Jericho. They say the closest team ever. Faces have the early advantage about to air Enzo into both heels in the corner, but the heels pay dividends to one another. Owens hitting an insane frog splash, and Jericho strongmanning Enzo away from a tag. He just like clips him out of a diving tag, just bam, checks the side of him, like, wow. Big banner Owens is like, lightsaber, whatever, to Enzo as he's beating him, and warns Chris, like, don't let him tag the big one, he hits hard. He was right to warn him. Enzo catches Jericho with a top rope DDT for near fall. Owens has already dispatched Cass on the outside, so Owens launches Enzo over him like pop-up powerbomb kind of, but he's like launched over him, and as he's right into a waiting code breaker for the win. Ah, beautiful. And they're like, yay, we won. Oh, hey, Jon Stewart, you're back again hosting this year, yelling at Mick Foley like, how could you work for Steph? Oh my god, we're fucking... Oh, the definition of... I can think of better shit to yell at him about, okay? More on that later, like I said. In comes the New Day to, I guess, pull Stewart and his kid away from Steph's wrath. I don't know, I was like half paying attention, half listening to New Legacy's Discord, so... Women's Championship match, second match of the night. Women's Revolution! First Raw draft does extremely well. One of the highlights of that very first Raw was a match between Sasha and Charlotte for the title. Both women risking life and limb to win this thing. Sasha with that Eddie Guerrero nod and taking the title after she hits Charlotte with it behind the referee's back and tosses it to Dana Brooke. After she flings falling over, she's like, ah. So the ref says, okay, hit her with the title. Get the fuck out. So then it becomes this one-on-one match that Sasha ends up winning the title after making Charlotte tap to the bank statement. So tonight is Charlotte's rematch clause. Charlotte quickly rolling to the outside after getting quickly caught into a bank statement early on. Sasha, this fucking botch. Charlotte fucked up big time on this one. Like, Sasha just dropped harshly on the ropes. Like she was going for like a top rope suplex, but Charlotte falls off and lands, and Sasha takes like the ropes to the back and neck. Like, and now Charlotte's got to go to work while she recovers. Try to continue this match. Let's try that suplex again. Sasha fights out, and after stopping a figure 8 attempt, back to the top turnbuckle she goes. Charlotte going for razor's edge almost, kind of like she has her in that position. Crucifix. Her Karana counter. Jade Stockton to Sasha getting Charlotte tied up in the ropes with a double knee. Like, oh my god, like double knees, like right to the face. I'm like, how the fuck did she answer that? But she does with a top rope move that Charlotte almost gets pushed off. Knees to faces. Sasha Banks. Her back does give out trying to backstab her. Natural selection from Charlotte. Immediate bank statement. Charlotte, after a bit, manages to squirrel away. Neck breaker, chop block, natural selection, near fall. Charlotte gets tilt-a-whirl into the bank statement, so she's in there, and Charlotte, like, rolls Sasha's back during it and gets the 3. No champion! And there's been a lot of talk all over the place on Twitter. I was going nuts on this one. Claiming, like, from injuries nagging to her honeymoon with Mikaze to she got hit with 30 days. So there was like a quick hashtag floating around like, anyone with you, Roman, for that. More on that as well later. We lost, because Paige isn't here. We lost her. Del Rio, we lose someone else. I'll get to that. Dr. Gallows, Dr. Anderson, just hanging out with AJ Styles on SmackDown. Hey, Finn Balor, they throw up the wolf sign, and he just walks away. They seem okay with that, so I don't know. This matchup between Miz, dressed as the blingiest, douchiest version of the Phantom of the Opera, being upset about being disrespected, so in turn disrespects his opponent tonight, who won I think it won like a battle. It was like a over-the-top rope battle royal on SmackDown. Apollo Crews, he mistakes him and calls him Apollo Creed, something that Daniel Bryan also does. I think Daniel Bryan actually did it first, and then on Talking Smack, he was like, I was like, sorry, I was watching Creed. I thought that movie was awesome. I need to see that because I like the Rocky series. I gotta watch that eventually. But yeah, he's just upset. Like this happened over a break. This escalated. I'm like, oh really? This is never a good sign. So he calls him like Apollo Creed, and Apollo Creed just busts him up a little bit. I don't know what he's on about. He's in the New Day. Thank you very much. Cruz giving the crowd and the Miz pause by a huge drop kick. Dead the Moneymaker. Morrow says, who was trained by Mr. Hughes? Mr. Hughes, Jericho, and Triple H's old bodyguard. Love that guy. I don't remember, honestly, much from him in WWE when he showed up, but he also always looked like $1,000,000. A minute later, Miz wins in this afterthought of a build and equal afterthought of a match. Something that won't be an afterthought, Cena Styles 3. Styles continues to berate Cena for what he is, asking, why are you here? And Cena's like, because I love it. And I know that's like, you say love, and it like makes you less of a man. It sounds girlish, but I'm a grown-ass man. I love doing appearances and shows and hosting award shows thanks to the WWE. I love most of all answering those who ask, now that you're here, when do you pursue something else other than wrestling? And Cena's, I love most of all that reaction when I tell him, look him dead in the eye and say, never, because I love doing this. What the fuck are you here for? AJ's like, predictable. I'm here to beat John Cena. Hashtag. And when he does tonight, either on SmackDown, Cena, you admit I'm better than you, and you're a loser, or you don't, and you're a liar. Either way, I win. AJ Styles showboating, he took out Cena with a single drop kick. I'm like, what are you doing? Because Cena just gets right up and Fucking decks him in the face. That's what you fucking get. You ought to know better than that. AJ flying several feet above Cena, getting flipped over and gets a drop kick of his own for 2 after a harsh suplex. Cena takes the shoulder blocks. Pele counter to the AA. Styles Clash 2 count. AA 2 count. Torture rack into spinning powerbomb. AJ slingshotted to the ring, gets big endinged for 2. Wow, John Cena knows that move. It's like that front face buster off the shoulder. AA from AJ near fall. Not quite as the replay showed. It was the fireman's carry into like a bended knee. I thought like, oh, he hit him with his own move, and then he like goes the bended knee. I was like, ah. If he did it correctly, he would have. I always love that finish. Like, I beat him with your own move. Something AJ knows about, like Christopher Daniels. You beat me with the freaking Styles Clash. That's my move. I'm right here. I done told you I wasn't going nowhere. It's been the worst year of my freaking life. Yeah, I know it's been really bad. We are the Addiction, and we're the Ring of Honor Tag Champs. Worship us. Sorry. AJ misses the 450 Canadian Destroyer from Cena. So it's the Cena. I forget to call it the Canadian Destroyer. Near fall. Suplex. Facebuster. Near fall. Cena catches AJ's leg from that springboard going for the STF. AJ counters into a crossface and Cena strikes out. No! Calf crusher! Cena fights out of that going for STF. AJ fights out of that. Pele! Tornado DDT for 2. Frankensteiner from AJ. Forearm kick out. AJ kicks Cena's leg out of his leg and gets turned inside out with a clothesline. Top rope fireman's carry again. Despite shots to the face, Cena does still hit it. Near fall, and Cena is like, the fuck do I do now? I went top rope with that shit, and Cena's like it was like a good 30 seconds of Cena just like eyes just deer in the headlights. He's just like, all right, I'll go after him again. AA Clash reversal, forearm 3 counts. AJ wins the rubber match, and Cena removes in the ring. He removes the armband of Never Give Up, leaves it in the ring, and walks away. So, what's gonna happen on SmackDown, you guys? Has he given up? I'm like, If he actually tapped out, I would have thought like, oh, this is Cena like finally like leaving and being like maybe I'm not the face that runs the place anymore. Like, a pin. I'm like, maybe not. Like, if he actually gave up, that would have been it. Like, because Cena don't tap. Like, if we actually tap, that would have been like, if you were going that route. So I don't know. Like, if he tapped out, I'd have been like, oh wow, that would have been a greater finish than it was. I think this was the match of the night, honestly, and it showed because it kind of went downhill from there. Like, it started going downhill, switching off to the sides, losing some of its packaging, and like careening off a fucking cliff at some point, and then coming right back around to like, oh dear God. Jon Stewart, thankful no one decided to run out and hit someone in the chest with a chair during that match. It was actually kind of fun to hear. I was like, all right. It was cringe, but he was like, he also warns that when you take an AA, tuck your shirt in. No one needs to see that. Self-aware Stewart. And then decides he's going to replace Big E in the New Day with the chant and everything. And thankfully he like halfway turns it over to the crowd and lets them do it. He's like, oh, Brooklyn, don't you dare be sour. And then just like, he lets the crowd take over from there. And I'm like, awesome. Say what you want about the earlier segment. The man knows enough to just let the crowd have their fun there. And I was like, all right, good shit. New Day minus Big E, who suffered a groin contusion weeks back at the hands of Gallows and Anderson. They're out in, like I said, the doctor, they're out in lab coats making lame testicle jokes with, like, jars with yellow liquid labeled for the rest of the New Day, including a wee little baby chair for Jon Stewart. That was convenient. Xavier in ring becoming more and more impressive. Like, he's this new thing where he does like a from the top turnbuckle He'll walk over a little bit off the top rope and pew, leap right off. Match ends with a magic killer, and Stewart gets involved, about to get his nuts busted by the club. And Biggie runs out and saves the day and ultimately gets the DQ as a result. So it's like, comedy match. Okay, cleanse the palate for this WWE Championship match. What was this, like, only like barely out of the second hour? I forget. I didn't really time all these, but I'm like, already?
What?
Like, over the... Well, I guess you want to push the... Well, I knew Brock was going to be the main event, but I guess you're going to, like... But you haven't even had the U.S. title match yet. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. We're going to get weird booking, aren't we? I was like, oof. Hi, I'm Dean Ambrose. And I'm the only member of the Shield that hasn't fucked up. Cockpick 30 days. Versus the new number one contender for that title, winning a six-pack challenge. The always on the cusp of greatness. Always giving 110%. Always giving us a taste of it, but never really the whole thing. Dolph Ziggler incensed by basically nobody having faith in the guy anymore. Like, he's got a match where he gets beat up by the Whites. He comes out, and Daniel Bryan and Shane are like, you don't go out, like, don't go out there. Don't do this. You don't have to prove yourself to anything. Like, Bray Wyatt wants his, Bray Wyatt's like, I want your championship match so I can go after Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam. And, like, they're telling him, like, don't go out there. You're not 100%. And just like, Dolph's like, you don't think I can beat him? Well, screw you guys. So basically, like, nobody having faith anymore. Even Dean basically tells him all show, no goal. And Ziggler's, he finally has enough. He finally snaps and is ready to take Dean's head off, and nearly does so with a super kick. So yeah, other than that, like, trying to skip their weird side adventures to Wyatt territory a little bit there, because it was like him and Eric Rowan. They're not even on the card, by the way. SmackDown, they teased the breakup. Wyatt at least got his chair back on SmackDown. That's something. I guess he got a new chair. Like, Sister Abigail's keepsake, rebuild itself. Like, the spirit of Sister Abigail gave him another chair. It's like, just what I wanted for Christmas. Like, Christmas in July or something like that. Like, he got his gift. He's like, oh. I would have cared more of that. But... And Eric Rowan has, like, this weird thing where he's got, like, his mask, but it's, like, frayed, and, like, the ears are missing, and there's, like, weird Ronald McDonald red hair, curly curls coming out of it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Come back soon, Luke Harper. Come back soon. But, yeah, the WWE title goes on before the U.S. title and the dumb Universal title. Because that's actually what they called it. I'm like, oh, my God. New era, old habits. I'm told Dune's stock lowered a bit. I didn't see the Steve Austin podcast, but it was like a bit too casual. I guess they wanted him more in character, at least someone who gave a shit. So it's like, I guess this match is between someone who doesn't give much care about anything, because he kind of throws himself into, like, whatever the fuck he wants to. He doesn't he doesn't have, like, you don't plan Dean Ambrose. Lunatic fringe, you know what I mean? Versus someone who cares maybe a little too much, like Ziggler's been at the World Championship twice. Now it's fused with the WWE, so it's now the WWE World Championship. So a nice dropkick cuts off Ambrose, who returns with a vicious facebuster for 2. Now mocking Ziggler with the super kick set up. He gets pitched out instead. Back in with Ziggler's DDT for 2. Shoulder first goes Dean into that LED ring post. Bulldog and elbow from Dean. Continues to mock Ziggler with the Ziggle wiggle. And Ziggler just latches in that sleeper. Dean tosses him. I guess Dean have a plan for this. He tosses himself out of the ring and takes Ziggler out with him. Good stuff. I like that one. Ziggler back up with a surprise super kick, just boom, out of nowhere. Like, on the apron, brings Dean back in ring for 2. Another kick block, Dirty Dean's attempt block, zigzag, near fall. Wacky Lion! Dean tries to go for that top rope elbow, blocks Ziggler's attempt to yank him off by landing on his foot. Dirty Dudes! Dean retains in a match that obviously could have gone on a bit longer, but the crowd was mostly burned out by the previous 2 matches. Like, they weren't kind of too up on their feet for this one, but I'm like, I like the match. It could have lasted a little bit longer. I don't know. It could have been a couple more minutes. She's a raving. That's all. Like, yeah, Naomi's since the SmackDown now, she's I guess she's face now and back to, like, Like, she's all neoned out and shit. I'm like, oh man, this is a cool entrance. She teams with Becky Lynch and Carmella versus Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and let's see if I can do this right. From where is she from? Cobb County, Georgia, or something like that. From Cobb County, Georgia. The eternally beguiling, bewitching. Allow yourselves to be seduced by All Red Everything, Eva Marie, who has been suspended for 30 days and will not compete here tonight. Or as WWE says, like, she is suffering anxiety and due to a harsh crowd. Cop out, cop out. Boom, So yeah, she's got the best entrance, like, on Smack. Like, I was barking out huge on SmackDown, but it was like this Gary Owens-esque intro of this. I'm like, wow, I love this. I'm like, behold the eternally beguiling, all red everything, Eva Marie, and she's been like ducking matches. Like one match, I think she came down, like, she was like celebrating on the rope. She's like, yay, before her match, and she comes down hard on her leg. And she's like, ow, my leg hurts, I can't compete. And then another thing was like wardrobe malfunction, and another one was like, Eva Marie will not be here tonight as traffic has delayed her. Eva Marie apologizes. She probably still can't wrestle worth shit, but just this, like, the idea of just like, we saw a glimpse of that greatness on NXT where it seemed like the referee was like helping her out, like WWE was kind of like, is the fix in or some shit like that, you know what I mean, against Bayley when she was, that was good stuff. So seeing this now, she's like, oh, she's got this like big, huge intro. She's got her own announcer. I want one day to switch it up and it's like Ricardo Rodriguez. Vamos a LS Orojo Eva Marie. So yeah, she got pinched like 30 days for like Adderall, and we'll see how that goes. She's like planning to repeal, like her husband's like trying to repeal that suspension. So, but yeah, she's not here tonight. So welcome back her replacement, Nikki Bella. Oh, face Naomi, you've gone back to your old ways, I see, with the leg lock on Natty's face, and she just like brings her like face to ass. Like, oh no. Crowd really likes Alexa, and hey, more power to that. Nikki's been putting in work, and I can say she's earned it by being here. So now it's just, honestly, it's Carmella who looks like she does not belong compared to the other five. At least with Eva, the sides would have been a little more even. It does end as it should with Becky and Natty at some point. The latter eating a stiff enziguri, top rope guillotine leg drop in. Nikki saves the match. Okay, so we're still going. Another huge kick from Naomi. Misses a split leg moonsault. Alexa Bliss gets into the midsection trying to go for her top rope move. Tag to Carmella, who super kicks Neely right in the face. Like a lot of solid, like audible shots to the face. Like Bacho Buster and Pandemonium. Yeah, she goes for the Bronco Buster and gets like 10%. Levels Carmella with the Bella forearm. Mark Mero move. Nikki wins. And I was like on Twitter, it makes sense she's more over than her husband was tonight. So I guess Nikki's back on SmackDown. Keep Bayley the fuck away from that. Put her on Raw, please. Please put her on Raw. We don't have a women's title here yet. Oh, man. Oh, now here's where Mick Foley really grinds my gears. Rusev and Lana celebrating their wedding and their United States champion, as you do. And the thing with, as weddings usually go, they don't usually end well, like in WWE. Yeah. Continuing that tradition, out comes Roman Reigns to spoil it, thinking Rusev's been ducking him and not giving him a U.S. title shot, and Rusev's rightfully telling him, "Who have you beaten? You got bit. You've lost the title. You've lost a lot of stock. Basically, fuck you. I'm out of here." So Roman, makes mentions like, you don't. It's like, I bet Lana's disappointed. Like, you're not. There's dick jokes. Really, You were so fresh and innovative on Up, Up, Down, Down, that one UFC thing. Why can't we get that, Roman? Fuck. Like, we really, I guess he's just like, well, I don't know. I guess he'd just be like a larger version of the Romans, just going like, yeet. Like, that I believe is like the Romans. Like, this is Uzi Juicy. Uzi Juicy. But yeah, Roman shows Rusev at the wedding around, and it ends up with Lana end up face first into a kick, and Rusev, understandably pissed off, goes to Foley like, fucking do something about this. The fucking dickhead. Foley's like, Rusev has a title match with you now, baby. Rusev upset even more at this. Like he's like, and like Stephanie's here. He goes like, I'm right now. I'm the U.S. champion. Like I'm the champion. Like Universal title. You don't even have that yet. I'm like, yeah, Rusev. Like I said, like a lot of people on Twitter probably agree with me on this. Like Rusev's like your most over face ever, and all because people keep being assholes to the guy. I'm just like, yeah, he hates America. Like, have you seen what the fucking bullshit that's going on right now? 2016 election. I'm not exactly on my favorite people's list. Like, yeah, you silly Americans. I'm like, yay, Rusev. Way to go, Rusev. You tell it like it is. Rusev for president. Well, he's not Russian, he's Bulgarian. I'm like, oh, how are we on that? I may have to look that up later. Like, how are we with them? Like, maybe. So, the Raw before the pay-per-view, we get this match, Rusev Roman, for Lana's honor, because that was apparently on the line. Has she not suffered enough with her denim phase with Ziggler? She's been through enough. No wonder your daughter's dating a fucking clown. Yeah, I said it. That's right. Fuck you. A fraudulent clown, as he said on I didn't watch that. And I was like, I'm burnt out. 19 pay-per-view. Oh my god, you already got me on 5 hours. Raw and SmackDown. NXT counting 6. 7 counting the cruise. Oh, I feel like Hank in the Megalo Church. It's like, oh god, it's too much. I need an escape. And now I'm also doing Ring of Honor for an hour. I'm like, oh god. I'm not covering that because I don't watch the previews, but it's, well, at least I can like fast forward to that. A lot of commercials. It's probably more like 40 minutes. Like NXT doesn't do much commercials. Cruiserweight Classic is just like all those matches that they don't get much commercials. They get like a good hour. I'm like, oof. But yeah, all that shit I was talking about, Rusev and Roman. Swerve! Universal title match before that. What? Seth Rollins already prepped up by Steph and Mick to fight for that because he was the #1 draft pick, you know. Seth freaking Rollins. I was practicing all yesterday doing the laugh, like... I said he's like a kind of louder, like more like nasally Christopher Lambert laugh, like, you know, Christopher Lambert's like the Liu Kang, you must compete in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Do pretty good. I'm gonna look back and be like, wow, I'm doing a pretty good Seth Rollins impression. Seth freaking Rollins. Man, I wish we got that for that Sharknado. I saw a clip on that on Uprocks. I'm like, wow, you're terrible. I got the device. Like, yeah, I have the device. Yeah, there's just like yell talking and just like very monotone, like just being like, I'm really loud and like this is important and I have this thing that's gonna like. Whatever the fuck, like, the console or the module or whatever the fuck, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to get through this if his opponent, the 5th draft pick for Raw, the first from NXT call-up, Finn Balor. He wins a 4-man end over Roman Reigns, who won another 4-man to get his shot at this new Raw-only title as well. Yeah, the Universal title. Ugh. Seth not thinking too much of the Demon King, which sounds eerily similar to you know what. That's what I was waiting on. Like I was waiting for him to like really botch it, and it was just like, I was like, oh, live TV. Like I just would. We all don't want to retread that. The title just. That's your title. That's it, huh? Nixus colored Rollins versus Finn Balor. He's got like the bat wings going on. He's like the end, like it's like the end of Batman Forever, kind of where the Riddler's in jail. He's like, I'm Batman. Not sure about the words in Sharpie on his body and legs. It's like pan for a full body tattoo, and the guy just gave up halfway in. He still put more work in than just making a fucking title that looks exactly the fucking same, only blood red way of fucking him. I'm gonna need to take a 30-day suspension after the drugs I'm gonna be taking from the headache I'm getting from this. And the crowd is already shitting on your shitty belt design too much to actually enjoy the match, including... This belt sucks, Tuna Johnson, and, hey, we want a new belt. It looks stupid, and the most damning comment of all, in my opinion, because it's used to be your direct competition. I say used to be, because Tuna is just, and not even afterthought anymore, like, delete, 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 delete. It's a dilapidated Divas Championship. This does pick up because it's Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. I'm like, okay. I'm like, save this match, please, both of you. I know you can. So I'm like, okay, they start getting into it now. Finn rocking out on Seth early, almost getting set up for the coup de grace, trying to boot on Seth's ACL. Almost like, Seth does get back in and starts using his like he's got Balor's tape on him and starting to choke him out with his tape. He's like, you regret bringing this, don't you? Like, God, I'm going to ruin this now. DDT planting Rollins head first. Huge kick to the face of Rollins on the outside. Back in, Sling Blade! Runs into a dropkick, pedigree block, 1916 2 count. Looking again for coup de grace. Triangle choke. Balor goes for the ropes, but there's no DQ. Like, it's the same belt design, only slightly more red, so it's technically new, so there's really no point in rope breaks or disqualification. I'm like, okay, it's at least that's the smart thing. The design, not so much, but like, seriously going with this? Powerbomb to turnbuckle. Kick follow-up for near fall. Inside cradle from atop the ropes on the floor for 2. Balor breaks through it. Drive-by dropkick. Coup de grace near fall. The second attempt is blocked. Pedigree near fall. Dropkick to Rollins. Superplex. Pedigree gets blocked into the stomp. Dropkick sends Rollins into the turnbuckle. And another one. Coup de grace. Finn Balor is your new Universal I don't want to take anything away from the guy. Like, it's because it's his fucking WWE pay-per-view debut, and he wins the big one. Like, just beat the man clean. Former WWE champion was never beaten for that title. He held it with that in the United States Championship at the same time. Like they didn't give Seth Rollins like a thing or like a tournament. It's like, we're just gonna have Seth Rollins do it because Seth Rollins is the guy. He's our pick. We picked him first for a reason. The belt sucks design wise. It might actually fit with like Finn Balor's all red and black everything when it's like just him in a suit with the. Please let it be like how the champion makes the title or something like that. Like it's like the Eva Marie Championship. It's all red everything just a. Fuck. After that, I don't even know anymore. This fucking commercial, like, apparently this was on SmackDown. I must have missed this, and thank fuck I did, because I'm like, oh, this would have killed. Because we got, like, it's a commercial for, like, chicken sandwiches, and there's like, oh, we need, like, oh, you're tired for chicken sandwiches, and I'm like, yeah, that looks familiar. that guy looks familiar. He's in a chicken suit. And I'm like, oh my god, it's the fucking Miz. Like, he got a commercial or something. This is for something. And all of a sudden you see outside, like, Colonel Ziggler? Dolph Sanders? Did I just end up in a fever dream after bitching so much about how crap the Universal title is? I, like, passed out and just, like, now I'm like, apparently not, because everyone's seeing this too, and everyone's just like, that was my reaction to this. I'm like, the fuck is going on? And now we got Roman versus Rusev. I was really hoping Ruru would just 18 seconds ring until the rest of the night went to Orton Lesnar. Like, oh hey, I may get my wish. The match doesn't even start, and Rusev has had enough and starts just beating on Roman Reigns with all his grandstanding. And Roman does eventually get his Superman punch in. Rusev looking for a find. Like, he's ready to, like, brain Roman over the skull with a chair, and ref's gotta pull these two apart. Like, just like, oh shit. So Rusev kind of already battered down. Roman, be a star, damn it. So he beats on him for a while, and Rusev's just like, oh. Announcement goes like, Rusev's unable to compete because Roman's a dickhead, and Roman just comes back to spear the fuck out of him. How is he a face? How? Explain this to me. He breaks up a man's wedding just because, and makes dick jokes, and like his wife's a mail order bride. Like, really? Like, even in the Attitude Era, I would have been like, dick. Like, this, that might have actually gotten over, but like, wow. Like Austin had some, like, really, really dickish moves. Like, there was that, like, the original plan for it to be, like, the higher power was supposed to be Jake the Snake. The guy who beat at King of the Ring and pretty much shitbag on him like this. Like, get him out of the WWF. Get him some bottle of Thunderbird so he can get back his courage that he had in his prime. Now, that was the original plan, but his drug problems and like alcohol problems at the time made that a non-thing. So it was like, oh well, it's gonna be me, I guess. Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon. Ha cha cha cha. Made sense in a lesser sense, but to have like for fucking Jake the Snake and Undertaker back together again, like, oh, that would have been fucking amazing. That would have made sense. This doesn't. The only way this makes any sense if this is like a double turn, which they're so not gonna do. If Rusev's over as a face even more due to Roman just being an asshole. It's like the superdickery.com should devote a wing to this. No wonder he's not getting on. Main event! Randy Orton talks about when Lesnar came in after winning a national championship going into OVW, like all these future superstars down there. You had Cena, Batista, Shelton Benjamin, who is I said was on SmackDown. He was coming back, but I think he's like heading with nagging injuries. Got to take care of that right now, so they got pulled. I'm like, well, that's the important thing. Like, glad you caught that. So get better. So get well soon. Orton's side of the story is like, we became close as both got the call up to the WWE. Orton says, you know, when Brock left due to him not liking people, that set me off. Oh, that's good. Orton has a problem with Brock not liking people. Orton, the guy who shit in a diva's bag and AWOL'd has a problem with someone not liking people. Pot called. Kettle says, take that motherfucker to Suplex City. Brock Lesnar, his side of the story, basically coming to fuck Orton, eat him, and shit him out in his own bag. Tragic irony or poetic justice. Depends on who you ask. Brock does not give a fuck. And now you can play the drinking game. Take a shot for every suplex. And I can recap that along with you. Orton gets in early, almost getting an RKO before Lesnar just like shoves him right off. Drink. Kicks the midsection, no effect. Drink. Orton to the outside, still wondering where he's at. Forearms, no effect. Orton dropped onto a table, and Orton makes it to the crowd and dragged back into a table. He just like throws him on top of that shit, just like hefts him over. back on the table, and this time it does break. Back in again, drink! Back out again. Pulling apart another table to put Orton through, / toss into a prop for one of Lesnar's workouts. Pulls him up. RKO! I am the table! Only needed one to take him to Viperville, right, Randy? Rolls him back in the ring. Lesnar stirring, I guess we'll find out. Vintage Orton! You start to hear voices calling for it. RKO near fall. Like, it was supposed to only take one. He took two and nothing. So I'm like, okay, going for the punt. F5 near fall, and the gloves of Lesnar comes off, about to tear Orton up, and oh fuck, does he? Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, an elbow, I don't know what, like an elbow just straight up gashes Orton, and I mean gashes, like Eddie Guerrero, JBL 2003 type of gash, like, fuck! Lesnar's not done! Fucking stop, like, the bell rings, like, the ref's gotta stop this, because he's just clubbing away at Orton, and by now is like the side of his head is gashed open. There's like a small pool of blood like in the ring. Like, fucking stop this! Like, no, this is done. Brock wins his TKO, as they call it. No, Nikki won with the TKO. Lesnar fucking brutalized Orton. It's a ref stoppage. Like, it's still going after him after the bell rings, and out comes Shane to like probably get F5'd. I'm like, yeah. And Paul's like just begging Brock to stop there before you start a fucking World War III with the entire SmackDown locker room about to come out. Is like, hey, you may get some of them, but the numbers game, there's gonna be like 50 people just rushing it at once, just like, no, dogpiling. Like, oh my god, did we just pay $9.99 for a fucking attempted murder? Fuck. Oh, overall the pay-per-views, this whole 4-hour pay-per-view thing, yeah, this was like their big four. That's the plan, I think, is WrestleMania, SummerSlam, that makes sense. SummerSlam's a good one, a big one. The Royal Rumble also makes sense because you want to devote as much time as possible to the Rumble, and I question Survivor Series' legitimacy to that at this point. To be honest, I would send that to Money in the Bank. Give that the 4 hours. Like, that means more than fucking, like, Survivor Series? What even is that anymore? But yeah, great matches overall. The placement is all wrong, and maybe some of the wins were kind of questionable. It made me think, like, if only NXT writers and bookers were also called up, then SummerSlam wouldn't just be, at best, it was good. But good's about it, compared to fucking the NXT TakeOver 2 Brooklyn, which was like, I said like it seemed to fall apart right after Cena AJ. Easily the match of the night. Balor Rollins takes to women's title match, probably third for me. Best wishes for I hope Sasha's okay. Best wishes for Rusev. Orton, I don't even know. Like I said, I heard everything from suspension, honeymoon, time off for nagging injuries. So best of luck for Sasha. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, like she took that back thing. So maybe it could be like all of the above at this point. Like, after that, maybe it's a little of that too. The fuck do you do Monday for Brock? Like, he's got to show up on Raw, and they got to like find his ass or something like that, and something eventually happens. Like, the crowd were chanting of I don't get it. Like, the crowd was chanting for Goldberg. The fuck do you think he's gonna do? This is Lesnar's final form. This is like Golden Frieza. You're not fucking with it. Like, Goldberg and like Grandpa Beard is gonna show up. Lesnar, you just want to see a fucking massacre. Like, is this not enough for you people? Like, oh my god, the fuck do you think's gonna happen? Goldberg, you. Like, more to the point, who can, like, I guess Lesnar's back to being kind of a heel, because holy shit. Like, I guess they had to do it to Shane, because there's no way Daniel Bryan was going to take that bump, not in his, like, Burt condition, but if he, like, he could have just, like, he didn't even have to do anything to, like Shane McMahon, boo, like, he could have gotten heel beat for that, like, but especially Daniel Bryan, like, Like, maybe if he just, like, shoved him down or something like that. Like, he didn't have to F5 him. He just had to, like, show disrespect there or something like that. And the crowd would just be like, boo. Even kind of liked Randy Orton, but yeah, I guess the crowd would chant for Goldberg for somebody to stop him. Someone might stop him. I don't think it's going to be Gold. Then again, I don't know at this point. You might have to... It might be 3 members of the Shield that go after him. It's like, we got to combine against the common enemy, and they do like the Ryu and Ken versus N Bison shit. It's like a dramatic battle, like auto combo in. That's how you beat Lesnar. Or you just... Man. That was SummerSlam. And I was like, oh my god. Like on Twitter, I was like, oh god. Like, that's feeling really uneasy. Like, we got like this. Like, Rusev might be out after that one. Like, I think he's got injuries to take off, so they might take there's rumors they might take the title off him. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I might look that up later and know for sure. I don't know how to close now. I was just like we just saw, like, oh man. That's all I can say. Like, really, just like, wow. It would have been a better pay-per-view than it was if it was like booked a little better. Even like the Raw going in, like a lot of the matches were kind of like, what the fuck were we fighting for again? Like, I felt like that was almost with like NXT, because they announced matches for that, like the NXT before Takeover, like the Ember Moon match, that was the NXT before. Austin Aries, No Way Jose, that was announced before, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it just goes to show you what proper booking looks like, I guess. All right, I'm stopping here before this goes any longer. Take care. Thanks for listening.